If there ever was a time where a nil-nil draw is actually a step forward, this is the game. Welcome back to the channel and happy new year to everybody. I know it's already like 9 days, but still I wish everybody a happy new year. I hope 2026 has been a good start for you. Now, so last night it was Arsenal nil, Liverpool nil at the Emirates, and to be honest, in my opinion, it was a game of two halves. So Arsenal were the better side in the first half, although we did have a Conor Bradley shot that hit the crossbar. But Arsenal kind of pressured us, pressured Liverpool. But in the second half, it was all Liverpool, or at least 90% Liverpool. And I honestly think that Liverpool could have gone for a win because they were that dominant in the second half, and especially in terms of possession. So, what are the goods and the bads? What are the pros and the cons coming out of the game last night? Let's start with our defense for this game. I think uh, prior to the game, I know that there will be a lot of Arsenal fans looking forward to pretty much a demolition, and they have every right to feel that way, and it's actually quite justified, especially when you look at Liverpool's season. This whole season, we are fourth. We are before the game, we was like I think 13 or 14 points behind Arsenal. So most Arsenal fans, no, actually all Arsenal fans and most Liverpool fans would think that this will be an Arsenal win, that would put them like 8 points clear of second place, 17 points ahead of Liverpool, which is a massive, massive achievement, or would have been a massive achievement at this stage of the season. But Arne Slot set the team up for one word, for one thing and one thing only: defense. And for the entire game, we defended against Arsenal's overwhelmingly deep squad. Because when you look at the squad that Arsenal had, that Mikel Arteta chose as his attacking options, you had Saka and Gyökeres as part of the strike force, and then midway through the second half, he could bring on the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus to replace Saka and Gyökeres, and they also did what they could to attack Liverpool. And despite all that, Liverpool's defensive shape never faltered. Liverpool's defensive shape was solid for the entire 90 minutes. So you got to give Arne Slot credit for setting up a defensive shape as good as that. And if I'm being honest, moving forward, I think this is the blueprint. Not so it's not so much. I'm not focusing on Arsenal. I'm more focused on obviously Liverpool. But this defensive performance, and I was watching a few videos from other channels, like for example Don Hussam. He said that this was a defensive masterclass, and you know what? He's right. This was a defensive masterclass because we went to the home of the current league leaders. All right, we are the defending champions. We have had a relatively crappy season so far, but we went to the home of the current league leaders and we held them to a 0-0 draw. Not a 1-1 draw, not a 2-2 draw, a 0-0 0-0 draw. We stifled their attack for 90 over minutes, to the point where when we in the second half, they were on a back foot for most of the second half, and we could have had a couple of chances to score a goal, maybe nick one past them, and potentially actually win the game. So as far as defense is concerned, you know what? Credit to Arne Slot. But that's where the flip side comes in. The flip side comes in because we were so good, because we were so solid in defense, that we compromised it with our attack. Now, here's what I mean. We know that we were without our three main strikers, Ekitike, is still hurt. Isak is still injured. Salah is not available because he's at the AFCON and he's killing it, by the way. So we want to see that. On a side note, we want to see that Mohamed Salah when he comes back to the side after the African Cup of Nations, which I think Egypt are in the semi-finals. I think they are. So good luck to Mo. I hope he wins the AFCON. But but like I said, the flip side comes in because we were so good in defense that our attack, we didn't have much to play for as an attack. I mean, Florian Wirtz had to play a false nine. Uh, I thought that Arne Slot could have subbed off Cody Gakpo. Not that he's. I think out of the entire squad that played today, and by the way, there were no subs. There were no substitutions made until the very end when Conor Bradley went off injured, and I hope he's okay. And Joe Gomez came in. But I think that Arne Slot could have made a one or two changes. Maybe sub off Cody Gakpo and put on Chiesa because we know that Chiesa is willing to go forward. But with that's the price that we have to pay. But then again, going up against Arsenal, I can understand why Slot did not make any attacking substitutions. It is frustrating. It is frustrating because the way we defended and the way we attack from the midfield with Gravenberch and McAllister back to that pivot too. Szoboszlai as the number 10, Wirtz as the false 9, Frimpong and Gakpo on the wings. I thought we could have replaced Gakpo with Chiesa. Maybe Florian Wirtz goes to the left and we could have maybe nicked one. So that was the price we had to pay. But I understood what Slot what I understood the assignment that Slot put for the players. So I'm okay with it. To be honest, I'm okay. I can understand it. I have no issues whatsoever. Just that maybe one or two subs could have made a difference. But then again, at the same time, it's not just tonight's game that why Slot did not make any substitutions until Joe Gomez came on. It's because of the FA Cup game on weekend when we host Barnsley. I would think that the way there were no subs, I would think that Arne Slot would want to have all these bench players to play on the weekend. So the likes of Mamadashvili, the likes of Andrew Robertson, the likes of Joe Gomez himself, Curtis Jones, Rio Ingamoa, Federico Chiesa, Trenioni, so on and so forth. I think Arne Slot wants them to play Barnsley at home in the FA Cup this weekend. So I think that's why he didn't put any subs. So that way, that first team that played Arsenal last night, they have a full week's rest, which you have to rotate your squad. So I think that's the direction that Arne Slot was going to go over the weekend, which I have no issues whatsoever. After all, it's a FA Cup tie against a lower league team. I totally understand it. I just hope we learn our lesson when we lost to Plymouth. That is all I ask from the so-called second team. So totally understand it. And moving forward, but again, just to wrap things up a little bit for this game, moving forward, I think that our defensive shape, the defensive setup that Arne Slot has put, that is the blueprint. That is the way to go moving forward for the rest of the season. Because if we can do this against Arsenal, the league leaders, who are, I think, more than likely to win the league over the likes of Man City and Aston Villa, certainly over us. You know what? But if we can do that, if we can stifle Arsenal's attack with this shape, defensive setup, moving forward, that is what we have to do. Because two reasons, all right. Even though I think Arsenal is going to win the league, I believe that every single other Premier League team was looking at this game against Liverpool and think, if Liverpool can set up like this against Arsenal and stop them from scoring, maybe we can do the same to stop us to stifle Arsenal's attack. That's reason number one. Reason number two, for that same defensive shape. If we can stop Arsenal, then maybe this is the shape moving forward to go against all the other opponents. Because let's not forget, We have Man City to play at Anfield. We have Chelsea to play at Anfield. We have Newcastle, which I think is coming up sooner than later. Uh, Coming up at Anfield. They just won against Leeds, by the way, in a 7-goal thriller. We have, I think, Tottenham. We still have to play Tottenham at home. And towards the end of the season, we are playing it at Old Trafford. If we can continue what we're doing and keep accumulating points, more wins than draws, obviously, right? But but by the time we get to that last 4 games, right, and we are somewhere challenging, then you know what? I think we can continue using this defensive shape and make a run for it. So, as far as Liverpool's season going forward, I think this is the way to go defensively. Attacking wise, obviously, we hope that Salah comes back fit, Ekitike comes back fit, Isak, I hope he recovers in time because we're going to need the attacking power. So that is for the game against Arsenal last night. I think it's I'll look at it as a glass half full, and I think this could be the way moving forward. Just a little quick transfer news, so to speak. That's Man City. I think they're gonna sign Antoine Semenyo, and I think they're making a bid for Mark Gahey. But on our side, the transfer rumors is that we are signing a centre back called Joel Ozerman. I can't remember his name. For £43 million deal. So as of now, is not the deal's not done yet. But we definitely do need defensive reinforcements because just relying on Van Dijk and Konate, although they've done very well last night, sorry, just relying on them all season is going to take its toll, especially with the World Cup coming up, and both of them are going to be involved in the World Cup. They're going to be very tired. So we need defensive reinforcements. We need centre back reinforcements. So why we are not going all out to sign Mark Gahey and letting Man City or even Arsenal wanting to sweep in for Mark Gahey is beyond me. You know, Richard Hughes and Arne Slot and Michael Edwards need to do something because Mark Gahey was our defensive target in the summer window. Oliver Glasner pulled that deal out at the last minute, which I again I say is a mistake on Crystal Palace's part. You know, so I still think Mark Gahey is our priority. Everything else, I think, as long as we play the way we play against Arsenal, I think we should be okay. But let me know what you think. You know, should we go all out with Mark Gahey, or should we just focus on other centre back targets that could match the quality that Liverpool were looking in for Mark Gahey? What are your thoughts of last night's result? A 0-0 draw, but truth be told, it's a glass half full type of game. And do you think that this defensive shape? Do you think this is the defensive shape? Excuse me. Do you think this is the defensive setup moving forward for the rest of the season? Because I think it is. Leave a comment. Leave your thoughts on your comments. And as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and Happy New Year once again. I know it's a bit late, but still Happy New Year. I hope 2026 is a good year for you, and I'll see you in the next video.